watching Bengals Breakdown by Chat Sports, and I am your host, Stone Shields. Coming up on today's show, we're going to be talking about who ESPN named as the Bengals' biggest offseason winner and a potential surprise for the Cincinnati Bengals in 2025. They broke down one player for each of the 32 teams in the National Football League. We're going to be spending some time talking about who they selected for Cincinnati, and I will have my thoughts and analysis on that around the corner. Just a heads up, I am doing a little solo producing here on today's video, so if you see me look down, whatever the case may be, just trying to do multiple things here at once as we progress through today's show. Before we get into who exactly that sleeper is, name a Bengals surprise breakout candidate, right? Give me some surprise names down in the comment section of today's show. Maybe, just maybe, it ends up being the exact same player that Cincinnati actually is listed for in ESPN's article. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section of today's show. Get that surprise breakout candidate down for me in the comments right now. All right, here's who ESPN has. Germaine Burton is listed as the top surprise and offseason winner for the Cincinnati Bengals. And obviously we have talked a lot about Jermaine Burton here on the show, and even more this offseason. You've kind of heard from people around the team, Joe Burrow, some of the other receivers, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Dan Pitcher, Zach Taylor, all kind of saying, hey, we've seen a big turnaround when it comes to Jermaine Burton, his preparation, the way he's been acting, playing, and just the level of professional that he has become here this offseason. Obviously, that is a promising sign. ESPN clearly has heard and seen some of the same stuff, so they have him as a potential guy that could be a top sleeper for the Cincinnati Bengals on the heels of what was a disastrous rookie campaign for Jermaine Burton in 2024. Let's take a look at what Ben Baby had to say exactly for ESPN. He, of course, is their NFL Nation reporter for the Cincinnati Bengals, saying this: Burton had one of the worst rookie years imaginable, which only amplified the character concerns he had in college. Heading into this season, Bengals exec Duke Tobin made it clear Burton had to show Cincinnati something. This offseason, Burton has made all the right moves. He was attentive and engaged throughout the spring workouts. He earned praise from every person who was asked about him, including offensive coordinator Dan Pitcher. He's got a good look in his eye, Pitcher said. He's here putting the time in. Burton has the tools to become a big play option in special situations. And obviously it is very important that the offensive coordinator is having these remarks about Jermaine Burton as well. Now, if you watched our coverage during OTAs and minicamps, this probably is not a surprise to you now, hearing this. We are filming this video on July 7th. It will go out a little bit later than that, but it's probably not a surprise to you now. Was it a surprise to you back during minicamp and OTAs? Yeah, perhaps, right? Because I kind of was sitting here thinking, there was a real world where, Jermaine Burton very well could be cut from this football team and not be back here in 2025. But based on what we heard from Duke Tobin at the NFL Scouting Combine, kind of the feeling around the team was, okay, he's going to be back, but he's got to be a lot better, and he's got to get his act cleaned up. It's also good to hear this again, right? We had heard it, a couple of weeks ago during mini camp and the offseason stuff. Now hearing it again here from NFL Nation's Ben Baby obviously is a promising sign. Now, if he's good, the Cincinnati Bengals offense literally could be unstoppable, because they're borderline unstoppable at this point with what they have on the football field. T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, Mike Gesicki, Yoshi, Chase Brown, right? The list goes on and on. If he can be good, borderline unstoppable, right? And it feels like he will be on the team here at this point, barring another mess up. Obviously, if something goes awry and he does something he's not supposed to or doesn't show up for something, that could all go out the door. But right now, it feels like he's going to have an opportunity and will make this football team. Bengals probably will keep 6 wide receivers on their football team. I think those 3 that you see there pictured clearly are locks. And in my opinion, Burton and Jones are kind of locks as well. So then you're just kind of figuring out what exactly you're doing at that 6th wide receiver spot. But ultimately, looks like Jermaine Burton's going to have an opportunity here in 2025. We'll see if he can take advantage of it. Plenty more on Jermaine Burton to come, but are you drinking the Jermaine Burton Kool-Aid? Let me know. Be honest with me in the comment section of today's show. Type Y for yes or N for no. People and kind of the feeling around Jermaine Burton has really done a 180 since the end of the 2024 season. Seemingly trending in the right direction, but let me know what you guys think in the comment section of today's show. Now, I'm still hesitant to fully get on board after last season, right? It was a disaster. Let's not, slice it any other way. It was absolutely a disaster with what transpired with Jermaine Burton. in regards to what he was doing as a football player for the Cincinnati Bengals. Not necessarily what was going on the football field, but what was going on off the field, right? The evictions that we talked about, all right, missing meetings, the rumors that started all the way back, during a Thursday night preseason game about him sleeping in meetings, right, from Kirk Herbstreit and Al Michaels, and obviously that is not a good thing. If you are a professional football player, just really seemingly time after time, it was something with him. Even he went over to sit next to Joe Burrow at one point on the sidelines, and Burrow basically was like, "Yo, what are you doing? Get away from me." And it wasn't a good situation at all for Jermaine Burton. As Ben Baby said, couldn't really have been any worse for his rookie campaign. So with that being said, I need to see more, right? I need to see it during the regular season as well. And then I'm willing to say, you know what, maybe things have changed. But clearly he's doing the right things now, right? You've heard it from everybody. Look, everybody wouldn't just be lying to the public about this, right? If something wasn't, going the way they wanted it to go, I think Zach Taylor or Dan Pitcher, or you'd hear it from one of the receivers, Joe Burrow perhaps, would go out there and say, you know what, yeah, this thing is far from being in a good spot when it comes to Jermaine Burton on this football team. That has not been the messaging at all. The messaging has been he's doing all the right things. We're happy about him. Dan Pitcher said he likes the look he's got in his eye. I've heard that from multiple people that Dan Pitcher really is fired up about what Jermaine Burton could do for this football team in 2025, and things seemingly at this point are trending in the right direction. We will have more on Burton around the corner, but do want to give a shout out to our friends over at Fanatics. Let you guys know that these Bengals Hoodie T-Shirts are out there on sale. You can go get them. Chatsports.com/Bengals Hoodie T-Shirt / We'll put that link in the comment section and the description of today's show. Best part about it, they are on sale. I believe they're knocked down at least $15 to $20 from what they normally were marked at. So go take advantage of a great deal courtesy of our friends over at Fanatics and get you a Bengals Hoodie T-Shirt. Now, I'll be the first to tell you, when the Bengals took Jermaine Burton in the draft a couple of years ago, I was ecstatic. I thought it was going to be a perfect fit here in Cincinnati, and I thought he was going to fit in perfectly with the other wide receivers, T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. Kind of just the play style that he had. Some people, Tom Downey here at Chat Sports says, some people have that dog in them, right? Well, then Jermaine Burton had a little bit of that beware of dog in him. Like maybe it was a little bit too much, and I think you saw that a little bit at Alabama. But regardless, if he can toe the line a little bit, that play style fits in perfectly here in the AFC North. That, trash-talking physicality certainly is the way he plays, and that's how Jamar Chase plays. So if the two of them are out there on the football field at the same time playing together, things could be really, really good. The upside for Jermaine Burton is incredibly high. Taking a look here at some of these numbers from what he was able to do in college, because obviously it was the last time we really saw him play a lot, he was very productive, particularly after that transfer from Georgia, right? He's been a part of a lot of winning. He's been a part of big games. I always like taking guys in the draft that have experienced that in college, and I think it's really, really important. What he did that last year at Alabama was really, really special, and if it weren't for an incredible wide receiver class the year he was drafted, he probably would have had an opportunity to go a little bit earlier, but the reason he slid was because of the character issues, and that obviously reared its ugly head in 2024. What he was able to do on the football field, only 4 catches, right? You saw him really shine at points in the preseason, but then ultimately wasn't able to get on the field maybe as much as people hoped. It's that maturity stuff, right? Wasn't, fully in tune with what was going on in the playbook, and just lots of issues for Jermaine Burton when he was trying to work through his rookie season, and that ultimately resulted in him only having 4 catches in 2024. Now, if you are a diehard Bengals fan, first off, if you're at this point in the video, right, we're in July, and obviously it's a slow time for the NFL. If you're this far into our video and you're not subscribed, what are you doing? Help us out. Hit that sub button for me right now. YouTube.com/Bengals TV. We'll have you covered all off season long, and then plenty of more, even more exciting content once, of course, training camp rolls around, the preseason, the regular season as well. But if you're here, we appreciate you, and take advantage of this channel by hitting that sub button, and it's certainly helping us out here at Bengals Breakdown. We greatly appreciate it. Now, I do want to be clear here. The ideal outcome for Jermaine Burton isn't that he's got to go make a Pro Bowl, right? This guy doesn't have to be Jamar Chase or T. Higgins in order for this to be a massive success for Cincinnati, right? I mean, does he have that kind of caliber in him? Maybe, but Pro Bowl is probably a bit of a stretch, but that's not even close to what Cincinnati is needing from Jermaine Burton at this point. If he is a solid returner, right, the Bengals have struggled getting production in the return game. Isaiah Williams filled in admirably. Charlie Jones has shown he can do it really well. He just can't stay healthy. I think Jermaine Burton could be a really, really good returner for you if you're the Cincinnati Bengals. And I think that would certainly bode well for Darren Simmons' unit if Jermaine Burton can go out there and be productive in that sense. Also, if he can just be a big play threat, right? This is a guy that his favorite route at Alabama was running in a straight line down the football field, and they would throw it up to him, right? If he can continue to, run that route really well and catch the ball and outrun these guys in the NFL, that could really bode well. Has an opportunity to be a big play threat in certain situations. He's going to see a lot of one-on-one coverage when he's playing with T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. And if he can just continue to earn more playing time, that will show you. If the Bengals and Zach Taylor are putting him on the field more, that will show you all you need to know, even if he's not producing. If he's just getting more playing time, that shows you that, okay, they're starting to trust him more and they're starting to think he's more responsible and more professional, and that is a big sign. Good sign. And lastly, just stay out of trouble, right? That's really hit the bar for him is not that hard to clear, right? He's got a lot of help around him, a lot of incredible players. If he can just find his way on the field, that will show everybody really all they need to know in regards to what he can be as a player, how the team evaluates him as a player, and I think that could set up this football team for success as well. So again, doesn't need to be some Pro Bowl crazy caliber guy to really have a big impact on this football team. He's just got to go out there, do the little things right, find a way to stay on the field, and who knows, he might have an opportunity to make some big plays for this team in 2025.